The Saucony Triumph was my max cushioning running shoe of 2020. This year's version comes in weighing a little less. With so many additional max cushioning options available, is this still the best max cushioning running shoe of 2021? Let's explore the Saucony Triumph 19. Hey, what's poppin'? Jordan Thomas here, simplifying running to help improve your running experience. I've been fortunate enough to put in just over 30 miles over the last few weeks in these shoes, and I want to tell you about my experience. So let's begin with design. The midsole remains unchanged from the previous version, featuring Power Run Plus, and there's plenty of it. It helps create one of the most cushioned rides available. Think about this as being primarily on the firmer side of the max cushioning side when you compare to something like the 1080 V11 or the new Nike Invincible. I would like to see the Triumph get an upgrade in the midsole, particularly that of using Power Run PB. I just think it might create an even more luxury experience when it comes to a training recovery shoe like this one. The outsole adds to this experience by offering lots of traction, high level of durability, and so if you're one of those people that doesn't like to see a lot of exposed foam in the shoe, then this is a shoe that you definitely want to consider. Now the upper this year is where the major change is, and I feel like I've said that so many times this year, but it's true in this case as well. And so in this year's version, there's going to be an ounce less of overall material being used, and that's thanks to this mono mesh material. So in my men's 11.5, it's coming in at 12.8 ounces. I don't remember the weight of the previous year's version, but I did notice it on the upper. In this particular case, it altered the fit a little bit. So in a men's 11.5, while I did still find the toe box to be nice and spacious, while I found the midfoot still like very accommodating, I missed some of that cushioning in the back, in the heel cup, and the collar, and so it created just a little bit of space towards the bottom of where my Achilles heel meets like the heel of my foot, and I thought that that was a little bit of a miss. It wasn't enough that I feel like you need to change sizes, but I noticed it, and it was kind of like, I miss that overall feeling. This year's version does come with a modified eye-row, so that in combination with laces that are longer than the dialogue in an episode of Loki, you're able to get a little bit more of a refined fit. But I gotta be honest, despite my best effort, I missed the feeling of the previous version, and I just was not able to duplicate that in this year's version. So when it comes to performance in this shoe, I highly recommend this shoe for your long runs, anything that's gonna be over like 70 minutes. It really takes a while to kind of get up to speed or just be able to hold on to a particular pace. I find that looking at 60 to 70% of my kind of like goal or estimated or projected marathon pace kind of puts me in the position of like anywhere between like 7 minutes and 45 seconds to 8 minutes and 30 seconds per mile. I felt like the most comfortable. You can do some strides in it, but you definitely have to build up a lot of momentum in order to get that going. And I would stay away from these shoes for like prescribed like session type of workouts, like where you're doing like interval type of work. The shoes are just a bit too heavy for me to recommend for you to pick the shoes up in that particular case. Durability, though, is still one of the things that makes this a solid candidate for a max cushioning running shoe of the year, because I still estimate this shoe around like 400 miles. They didn't change the midsole much from the previous year, and so you take that in combination with the outsole, you can put a lot of miles in this. And so when it comes to like who would I recommend this shoe for, I would definitely say that if you're looking for a shoe as a recovery, long run type of day shoe, like you're training for a marathon, pretty much anything from a 5K to a marathon, this is a shoe that you want to pick up and just put in miles and time on your feet and be in a pretty good position. Now, when it comes to just kind of like a quick comparison and the shoe that I feel like would most directly compete with this, I would actually say the Nike Invincible would be the most likely one, just because of the amount of cushioning that's there. I will say with the Nike, you're getting, shoe's gonna actually be a little bit heavier than this one, but it is gonna be more responsive. However, with this, you're gonna get something that's gonna be a little bit less responsive, but it's gonna be more durable. And so let me know if you're interested in like a true like head-to-head. I think that those two would probably be my candidates still for a max cushion running shoe of the year. And then how would I use this shoe as like in an overall rotation? I would suggest picking up this shoe with something like the Endorphin Speed. Now, what you're gonna get with that is generally anybody who's training for anything from a 5K to a marathon, what you'll get is kind of like your faster day type of option, and then you use this for every other run that's possible. And so if you're looking at like the beginning, as I know a number of us are, in terms of like a marathon training block, I know with cross-country season coming up, you're looking for a shoe that you can just like put in a good amount of mileage, but not necessarily use it for your workouts, then this is a shoe that I recommend. And coming in at $150, based off of the overall mileage that you're going to get in these shoes, they're definitely going to likely last not just maybe one training block, but probably two. And so that to me certainly makes this shoe still worth it. While I do think the Saucony Triumph 19 is still a candidate for a 2021 max cushioning running shoe of the year, I don't think it's necessarily a runaway like it was in previous years, just due to the change in the overall fit and what I think is a departure for Saucony into looking at this shoe as more of like a performance training type of shoe. So let me know in the comments what you think about the shoes. If you want to check out my review I recently did on Endorphin Speed 2, check this out. And if you want to see something else, check this out. Hey, let's keep social media social. You fire away your questions to me. I'll do my best to answer them in the comments or in the next video. I'll see you next time. Jordan Thomas. Peace.